Well, start by finding out if the patient is even comfortable talking about the event. And often they're not, and that's not necessary. So we can just refer to it in the abstract as saying that accident or that day or that thing. Then we'll start with an acceptance affirmation along the lines of this. It'd be something like, first you identify what the emotions are, and it's typically things like sadness, fear, anger, guilt, that whole grouping. And an initial set of affirmations where people begin to accept that they are okay even though they have these emotions. There's a little bit of a EMDR type of bilateral stimulation element because they'll do a tapping like this after saying, even though I'm still sad when I think about that accident, my grandmother accepts me fully and completely, something like that. Deep breaths are an important part of the process, physiologically and energetically. I'll check in again after that phase, and often that will be enough to make the baseline high intensity, 9 out of 10 knots in the stomach dissipate to the point where it's comfortable.
Right.
But if not, then we'll go to the tapping of the acupressure points.
Could you demonstrate how that works a little?
So I'll explain that there's a sequence of points, takes about 5 minutes, and again, they don't have to think about the event in detail, but if they're able to, that helps to sort of unlodge all the little aspects of emotion that are still stuck. And so it will be something, we'll come up with a phrase to relate to the event, and it'll be something like this, and I give them a handout so they don't worry about memorizing, but talking through the process. So it'll be, they can either tap like this or gentle rubbing, and after about 10 or 15 seconds, I encourage them to take a deep breath. And on the exhale, just say, those emotions, or that event. Go through a series of points, speeding up a little bit. And, I'll talk about how to relate to the discomfort, because some of these points can be amazingly tender.
Right.
One way of conceptualizing that is that the energy is stuck there and you're trying to sort of coax it out. So a series of points, and if you're doing tapping, and then something I always encourage, and that's sort of the wisdom of the body, knowing how to release
right.
stress that's stored up. And then there's a few global balancing approaches with circular eye movements, and again, this is where I've added aspects from other approaches, but what's called in osteopathy a cranial frontal occipital hold, which is just it's very comforting, and it helps the neurological part of the mechanism to just kind of settle in. So that would be like one round, and then I would take a minute and have them check in. How do you feel? What do you notice? What are you aware of? And it can be everything from nothing's different to, oh my God, what happened? Where'd it go?